Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. A little bit of a delay. That's always something hard to get used to. Hello, everybody. I'm hoping our internet connection goes really well today. I was over on Facebook just a minute ago and we were having issues. So hopefully everything goes well with our video today. Hopefully the live chat works and we don't freeze up every 2 seconds like we were over on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Today we're doing the Honey's Choice block. This is going to be a 10-inch quilt block finished in our quilts. Our block today, however, will measure 10.5 by 10.5. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I meant to do that before we started. Hello, it's Friday. It doesn't feel like a Friday. April the 24th. It certainly does not feel like a Friday. Hello. Thank you, Sally and Sherry, for moderating my chat today. Thank you so much for keeping an eye out on everything. Really helps me focus on the block. We have some fun questions lined up for today. Make sure you stay to the end so that you can get a preview of what we're doing tomorrow. And I have sort of an announcement to make about that block for tomorrow. So make sure you stay to the end. Hello, everybody. Hello. So great to see you. Yes, the Honey's Choice block. I have the pieces up on the screen for today. And in case you missed yesterday's video, here's a couple of examples of what you could do with the Honey's Choice block. Pretty fantastic, right? I've used the same colorways in my pieces and I have them cut out and ready to go for today. You'll need 4 colors of fabric and I've broken down each one of the pieces and their sizes up on the screen. Hello, everybody. Sally says every day feels like Friday. Every day feels like Friday. This has been the longest weekend of my life. We've actually been staying home longer than 32 days, but we've been doing this series for 32 days. Feels like the longest weekend, right? Everything is so different right now. One of the main reasons we're doing this series is so that we can have some kind of fun interaction during the days while we're all at home, right? Just a distraction away from the news, away from the worries and the cares of today. Hopefully we learned something. Today's the first time that I've ever done the Honey's Choice block, so I'll be making mine very first one with you live today. But the main reason for this video is just to spend some time with each other. Alexis says, I don't even remember what month it is. Vicky, you're having a heat wave in Michigan. Wow, didn't you say it was snowing last week there? Am I thinking of the right Vicky? Maybe not. Oh, I wanted to say thank you to Lynn Ernst. She sent me this awesome t-shirt yesterday in the mail. Smartest women live in Virginia. She doesn't even live in Virginia. She's in West Virginia, or W.A. Washington, right? Washington. Thank you so much, Lynn, for my t-shirt. That was such an awesome surprise. I like it. Thank you so much. I had to wear it today. I had to wear it today. So it looks like our chat is working. I was really worried about it for a minute because Facebook was not handling streaming today. I was worried about it. So great to see everybody. We have quite a bit of work to do for our block today. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Okay. And then, like I said, make sure to stick to the end, or if you have to leave before we're done, come back and scroll to the end so you can see what you need for tomorrow. Okay? It's going to be a fun block tomorrow. Thank you, Connie. Yeah, I like this shirt. I like it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip the screens. Holy cow, 93 degrees in California. My goodness. Let's go ahead and pull up my work screen here. Here are my pieces. Here they are. You need two. Your colors might be different, right? I've seen blocks, all different colors. You need two background pieces that are 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Then I'm using red and green. You need one of each, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. This is going to make up our half square triangles of this block. Then you need one red 2.5 by 2.5 inch block and 4 2.5 by 4.5 inch pieces. That's everything we need to get started today. Hello, Miss Chantel and Janet. Thank y'all for moderating and helping out Sally and Sherry. The more eyes on our chat, the better, right? Thank you all so much. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's block, and we have some prep work to do before we can lay out this block, and we're going to be making some half square triangles. So I want you to gather the two backgrounds, or the beige, and one each of the green and the red. We're starting today's block with these pieces right here. We're going to lay one red square right side up, a green square right side up, and then we have the two beige pieces. We're going to lay them pretty side facing down, and we're going to mark these two squares with two marks, okay? We're going to turn them on point, just like this and like this. Is that in the screen? Yes. We're going to be sewing 4 seams with these pieces because this is going to make 8 half square triangles. I think we did another block in the beginning of this series the exact same way. Let's go ahead and take a pencil or something you will mark your fabrics with. We're going to draw a line from corner to corner one way, and then flip it around and draw a line from corner to corner the other direction. We are not sewing directly on the line. We're going to sew 4 seams, 1/4 inch on either side of this line, on both sides of the line, in both directions. Okay? We're going to mark this other block as well. Corner to corner, and then flip it, and corner to corner. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to start with our questions for today. We're starting with our this or that questions today. This or that. This or that. We're going to take the 2 beige squares that we marked with our seams. We're going to line them up, one on the red square, nice and straight, just like this. And I'm going to throw a couple pins in there to keep it all lined up at the sewing machine. There's 1 and 2 pins. I'm going to do the same thing with the green. This or that. This or that, number 1. Oreos or Chips Ahoy? Oreos or Chips Ahoy? I would say I'm an Oreos person. Oreos or Chips Ahoy? So here we go. This is where we're starting. green and red squares layered on top with the beige squares with our marks going from corner to corner. At this point, you want to make sure that your sewing machine is set with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm all ready to go. Connie has a great question. How do you all store your mats? She can't leave them out on a table. Could I drill a hole and hang it? I got my new mat and I want to protect it. Me, myself, I have a nail on the backside of a dresser that I use for storing my vinyl and stuff. And yeah, I hang my mats. The ones that I'm not using, I hang them. I don't know if that's the right way or not, but that's what I do. That would be great if you could let's see, Miss Connie know. How do you store your mats? Carrot cake Oreos. I have not tried those. All right, y'all. To begin, we're going to sew 4 seams on each one of these pieces, right? 1/4 inch on both sides of each line. That's 4 seams. I'm going to go ahead and get started doing that while y'all answer the first, this or that, Oreos or Chips Ahoy. So we have our first seam. Here's the line right in the middle that we drew, and I'm sewing 1/4 inch away from it on one side. I'm going to flip it around and sew back the other side. So there's our first 2 seams on our first 2 pieces. I'm going to take that off, and now I'm going to repeat that 2 seams going back the other way. There's the first one. We'll flip it around and go back the other way. All right, I'm going to leave this on the table so that you can see what that looks like once you're done. I'm going to repeat the process for this other set. Second, this or that. Are you adventurous or cautious? I find, I know after we talk about food all day, I'm starving to death. I know, I'm sorry. I find the older that I get, the more cautious I've become. I used to be very adventurous, and now I'm leaning towards being more cautious. Second, this or that, adventurous or cautious? I'm going to go ahead and do the 4 seams for this block. Spin it around and do the other side. And now we can do the 2 going in the opposite direction. right, the prep work has begun. Prep work has begun. We're going to remove these pins. Going to wake up this iron and get it going. Come on, Miss Iron, it's Friday. Let's go to work. We're making 8 half square triangles out of this, everybody. 8 half square triangles. So great to see you all today. Thank you for spending part of your Friday with me. Third, this or that. Are you a lefty or a righty? I'm a righty. Harlan's a lefty. Lefty or righty? Now that I have my 4 seams on each one of these blocks, I'm just going to set those seams and just flatten out these 2 blocks before we cut them apart. There you go. Time to wake up. Time to wake up. Good job. There's the first one. And the second one. Nice and flat. We're going to go ahead and cut these apart and create 8 half square triangles. Okay? Let's take this first one. The lines that we drew from corner to corner, those are our cut lines. So line those up on your mat. We're cutting directly on that center line this time. Center, center. Line up. There you go. We're going to make our first cut just like this. Then we're going to spin these around, and I like to line up the long edge of my triangle onto the line on a mat, and then the point of my triangle to another line on the mat. So there we are, lined up. That way we're just making sure to cut everything nice and straight. Just like that. I would use my spinning mat, but I covered it with flannel. And it doesn't spin. We're going to cut back the other way. Just like that. And now we need to make one more cut. You should have triangles that have seams just like this. Let's go ahead and line these up on our mat. This is where it's really important to make sure you're cutting nice and straight. We're going to line them all up just like this. Nice and straight. And we're making one more cut. That's going to cut these 4 sections into 8 half square triangles. I'm going to stand up for this one because I have better control. All right, here's our 8 beige and red half square triangles. We're going to repeat this process for the green set. So we're going to line it up on the mat. As soon as we're done cutting these apart, while I'm trimming the dog ears, we're going to ask the next this or that question. So we're cutting it one time. Then we're going to flip these 2 sections around. Line them up. Cut them again. Now we have 4 sections that we're going to line up one more time and make one more cut. This is a quick way to do 8 half square triangles at one time. Nice and straight on the mat. This will be all of the prep work. And then we're going to start laying this block out. One more cut. And now we have 8 green and beige half square triangles. Yay! I'm going to give everybody a chance to catch up. If you're sewing with me live, I know it takes a minute to do all of these steps, right? It takes a minute. The fourth, this or that. Sweet or salty? Sweet or salty? I'm going to go ahead and trim up all of these little dog ears. At this point, we should have 16 half square triangles. Sweet or salty? I like both. I like a snack that combines both sweet and salty. So great to see everybody today. 16 half square triangles. We flew through those really quickly though, right? Making 8 at a time. I think it'll probably take me just as long to press them as it did to sew them all together. I'm a slow presser. I'm a slow presser. Sweet or salty? I love chocolate covered pretzels, and that's kind of both, right? Sweet and salty. I'm going to get these dog ears trimmed, and then I'm going to just check through and see if we have any questions. Trimming. 16 half square triangles makes up the honey choice block. And that's a lot of little dog ears, isn't it? I'm going to move those over to my pressing mat, clear this off, and I'm going to check for questions as we ask the 5th this or that. The 5th this or that. If you're relaxing, would you like to hear ocean waves or the sound of rain? Miss Mona, I have a Juki. I have a Juki HZL F600. My embroidery machine is a Bernina B700. My long arm is a Nolting Pro Series 24. I used to have a Janome Artistic Quilter sit down mid-arm quilting machine, but I traded it in for my Nolting. Chocolate covered pretzels. Yes, I love those. Andy, yes, there's a playlist with all of these videos 1 through 32, all in one place. And you can save the playlist and then just come back and scroll through. On the thumbnails for each one of the videos is an example picture of the block, and then the size of the block and the name. So you can just scroll through the playlist, see a block that you want to make, and then for each one of these blocks up on the wall, there's a video that shows you how to make them. 32 videos. I can't believe it. Seems just like yesterday, really, that we started this. Sally, you can use both your left and your right. Wow. I cannot do much with my left hand. I cannot do much with it at all. I am totally right-handed. Yeah, so if you wanted to relax, would you want to listen to ocean waves or the sound of rain? I'm going to go ahead and start pressing all of these half square triangles because this is going to take a minute. And I am pressing these to the dark side. Okay, so my seams will be pressed right over to the dark side. You can press them open if you like. This is going to take a good minute. And I'm going to let you know how big these half square triangles need to be if you need to square them up. Thank you so much. Catakip. I know I'm not saying that right. Thank you so much. Ooh, caramel popcorn. That's delicious. All right, so your half square triangles need to finish at 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, 2.5 by 2.5. So if you need to trim them down, trim them to 2.5 by 2.5. I'm going to try to knock these out really quick. There's 16 of them. That's going to take a minute. 16. I love the sound of ocean waves. And I love the sound of rain. It's hard to pick which one is more relaxing, but I think I would pick the sound of rain. Oh, still pressing, still pressing. Yes, I did, Miss Doris. I got the computer set up for my long arm. It's going well. It's a learning process, but I've done a couple of quilts with it, and it was fantastic. I still have a lot to learn with it, but so far I love it. So far I love it. All right, we're still pressing. So great to see y'all today. So great. If you missed the this or that questions, I'll go through those really quick while we are finishing up these half square triangle pressings. Oreos or Chips Ahoy? Adventurous or cautious? Which side do you lean towards, being adventurous or cautious? Are you a lefty or a righty? Sweet or salty? And do you prefer the sound of ocean waves or the sound of rain? Maybe you prefer the sound of silence. I'm learning that song on my violin. Oh, we still got 3 more left to do. This is quite a bit of prep work for this honey choice block. It better turn out very fantastic for all this work. That's all I've got to say. I've never made this block before. She better be a pretty one, because this is a lot of pressing. This is a lot of pressing. All right. There we go. There's 16 half square triangles. We're done with our rotary cutter and our ruler. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to bring back my board with my other pieces. We're going to just move everything right onto this board. And now comes the fun part of actually laying out this block. And if y'all are sewing with me live, you might have had a chance to catch up because I'm a little bit of a slow presser. I don't press that fast. Let's go ahead and move on to one of our regular questions. I want you to think about the candy called Starburst. Starburst. Which is your favorite flavor of Starburst? So here's all of our half square triangles. We're going to go ahead and lay out this block, okay? Let's start with these pieces. We have one red one that measures 2.5 by 2.5. Just going to put that right in the center. And then we have 4 orangey colored fabrics that measure 2.5 by 4.5. We're going to lay them out just like a cross right in the center of this block. One on each side of that center square, just like that. I'm a strawberry person. I like the strawberry starburst. Now we're going to go ahead and lay out these half square triangles. It does not matter if I flip one way or another because it's the same from each direction. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and lay out our little pinwheels. There's going to be a red pinwheel. Oh, goodness. Like this. And this. Like this. And like that. Over here, we're going to do a green one. Like that. That. There. And there. Yes. Okay. I always have the hardest time keeping track of my pinwheels. I don't know why my brain just cannot see that. We're going to do red in the opposite corner over here. My brain always wants to flip the pinwheels. I'm not sure why. Then we have one more green set over in this corner here. See? Flip it. Lisa. That is the layout for our Honey's Choice block. Now I'm going to give y'all a minute so that you can get all of your pieces laid out. Let's see, we have a couple questions. Let's go. Pink, that is a flavor. Pink is a flavor. Let's see if y'all could maybe put your questions in all caps. That makes it really easy for me to go through. All the text is really small on my screen on my phone, and I have a hard time finding everything. Mrs. Thomas, I'm trying to go up to find it. Scrolling, scrolling. Oh, you play the violin. Yes, I do. I just didn't scroll up far enough. Oh, I say I play the violin. I'm learning how to play the violin. I'm learning. It's a lot of fun. I just hadn't scrolled up far enough. There we go. I like the strawberry starburst. Chantel, you don't eat starburst. Lynn hasn't had candy in 10 years. That's a really good idea, Sally. Put them all in a pile and then just rotate them as a. That's really what I need to do. Laying them out the way that I do, my brain just has such a hard time with that. Wanda, I did see your attic hourglass yesterday. I did. That was pretty. Yes, so I play the violin. Not very well, but one day I will play it very beautifully. It takes practice, y'all. Just like this, just like free motion quilting, and just like sewing. It just takes practice, and I have a hard time not giving up, but I'm going to stick in there and keep on going. Linda. Miss Linda, when I cut with my ruler on the line. There's so many videos out there that are going to be really helpful for you. So many videos. So just going to do a really quick brief and show you when I cut. And it's going to be hard, y'all, because I can't bring you in any closer than this. I can't move my cameras. I line up the edge of my ruler right directly on the line of my mat. Not to the left of it, not past it, directly on the line on my mat. A lot of people don't even use the lines on their mat. They use the lines on their ruler and the raw edge of their fabric. So it's really why you should probably spend some time and binge watch some fabric cutting videos, because there are several different ways to do it, and one way might work better for you than the others. Each one of these mats, different brands of mats, have different measurements, right? Same with the rulers. If you ever check them, that's why I always use the same mat and the same ruler throughout an entire quilt, so that even if this is off, it's going to be off throughout the whole quilt. But yeah, I really recommend binge watching some videos on YouTube about cutting, and because they can bring you in closer. I can't bring you in to my mat any closer than what we are right now. I line up that ruler right on the line, and I don't leave any of that line one way or the other. That's just me. That's just me. I hope that was helpful, but there's so many tutorials out there, and they can really bring you in really close and see. Hey Chantel, when you post so-and-so has a question, can you do their first name for me? because I'm going through trying to read everybody's full name to find the name. That would be really helpful. Doris, Harlan is learning how to play the cello. He doesn't know how to play the violin, so we're both learning different instruments. Mimsy, let's see, I got my violin maybe 4 months ago. Yes, we make half of a string quartet. All right, Miss Linda, I'm glad that that was helpful for you. Donna, I'm so glad that was helpful. I'm glad that your cutting is getting better. I did get the butterfly block yesterday. Thank you. And I looked it over. That does look like a fun block, right? I did. I did. We might make that one. I have to check into it because I looked it over and I watched the little video she did, or it was like a blog post, right? I want to make sure there's no copyright on that block and that it is a true traditional quilt block before we do it. All right, everybody, I think I've given everyone a chance to lay out this block if you're sewing with me live. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start piecing together our pinwheel units. This little 4 patch of half square triangles makes a little pinwheel, okay? I'm going to flip over each one just like this, with both of the red and green units on one side. Flip over the green and red units on the other side. To help keep myself organized, because I don't want to flip any of these and sew the wrong side, I'm just marking this seam with a little mark right in that seam allowance to help keep myself straight. We're going to go ahead and piece each one of these with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to do some chain piecing to speed up the process a little bit. Hazel, I like the pineapple block too. Yes, I do. I've added that to the list. Thank you, Sally. Each one of these half square triangles should measure 2.5 inches before we start sewing them together. I'm going to go ahead and do some chain piecing. And this is just going to speed up the construction of our pinwheels. Going through, we're on the 4th one. Going over on the other side of the block. Yes, the little mark. If I don't make it, I end up, by the time I do all this lining up, I end up sewing the wrong side. So let's start with this next question. If you could make one rule for your household for the day that everyone had to follow no matter what would that rule be? Like no burping for the day. No passing gas for the day, right? What would your one rule be if you could make any rule and everybody had to follow it and couldn't break the rule? What would your rule be? Just kidding on the passing gas thing. We have our last two. Stay out of the sewing area. Take your shoes off outside. That's a good one. Stay out of the sewing area. That's a good one. No swearing. Pick up your toys. This is going to be a fun one to come back and read later. All right, so we have all of these sections. I'm going to cut the connecting threads just like this. We're going to give them a press. This block is a little labor intensive, isn't it? Lots of things to do. If you need a block that's going to keep you busy, this is the block for you. I'm going to go ahead and press those seams. Ah, you fell asleep on the iron. Wake up. You're not done yet. You're not done yet. I'm going to start bringing these in. I know what you need, iron. There you go. That's what you needed. No complaining. I like that one. Do you want to know who the biggest complainer is in my house? The biggest complainer in my house is my bird. He complains. He complains if we go upstairs without him. He complains if we eat snacks and don't share. He complains if we're making too much noise. He complains if he doesn't like the show we're watching on TV. He complains if he sees birds outside the window that he doesn't like. He complains when it's past his bedtime and he's ready to go to sleep and we're keeping him awake. He complains about everything. Thank you so much, Miss Chantel, for taking care of that for me. Yes, that's why we have the moderators. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for keeping an eye out on the chat. Okay, so here we go. We're going to lay this back out again, and hopefully my mind will get it straight. Let's see. Yes. Then we have a red one down here. Dun, 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 dun. Like that. Nope. Nope. Yes. Why does that look funny to me? That looks funny. I'm not a big fan of pinwheels, y'all. I'm just not. I have the hardest time with them. They are not easy for my brain. So at this point, this is where we look. This is how we look. We have one more seam to complete our pinwheels. We're going to flip each one over, just like this. We're going to sew 4 seams to connect all of these pieces. This block takes a minute. I'm thinking though that it's going to be worth it. Yes, our bird is a male cockatoo, umbrella cockatoo. I'm going to get these 4 seams sewn and then I'll check for questions. I'm thinking this block is going to be worth it. Even if you don't like pinwheels like me. Two more to go. How does he complain? Well, he mumbles. He does a lot of chattering. And he does a lot of screaming. Not screaming all the time. He mostly mumbles and chatters. He'll throw his food on the floor in protest. He'll flap his wings really strong and hard so that feathers go all over the place. All right, 4 pinwheels, y'all. That took a good hot minute. Let me get them separated and pressed, and then I'm going to give everybody a second to catch up with me, and I'll scroll through and see if we have any questions. So there's one pinwheel. Let's see. Our next question. Do you have a bucket list? Do you have a bucket list? And if so, name something on your bucket list. Y'all, you might find with your pinwheels that middle seam, this middle section right here where all of these half square triangles come together is really thick. You might find it helpful to spread that seam open and press that one open. That's what I'm going to do to help keep the thickness right in that middle section of that seam. This color, in the sample, it's orange. This is a little bit of an orange, like a burnt orange color. So there's a green pinwheel. I used to have skydiving on my bucket list when I was younger. Now I've taken it off of my bucket list. Starting to get a fear for heights. So I've taken that off the bucket list. All right, one more green one, and I've got to press this red one. A bucket list is a list of things that you would like to do one day in your life. Like there's a movie called The Bucket List. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Pretty good movie, The Bucket List. Just a list of things that one day you'd like to do. All right, pressing with this block. Here we go. Your pinwheel units should measure 4.5 by 4.5. Yep, and I've got them switched over. There. There we go. The pinwheels are sucking all the fun out for me. The pinwheels are fun suckers for me. Thank you. Yeah, I just caught that. I'm going to give everybody a second just to catch up. The other questions, let's see. Name something on your bucket list. If you could make a rule for the day at your house and everyone had to follow it, what would that rule be? And if you think about Starburst candy, which is your favorite flavor of Starburst? Here we go. That's a lot of work for a 10-inch quilt block. I'm just going to say that. I like keeping it real with y'all. This block takes a minute. This block takes a minute. I'm going to take a sip of water. Ella, I like that rule. Don't ask me to do anything. That would be your rule. Yes, I'm all about the strawberry starburst. At the Dollar Tree has a whole packet and it's called All Pink. And it's nothing but strawberry starburst. I don't know that they still have them. It might have been a special thing. I don't know. Miss Donna, have you done this square with flowers? Nope. This is actually the first time I've ever done a Honey's Choice block before. Yes, Sue, this would be a good block to use up all your half square triangles. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not a fan of the pinwheels. They mess with my brain too much. But I think it's going to be a very, very pretty block, right? So let's go ahead and start sewing again. We're going to flip this middle section right onto the red pinwheel. Flip this center block right onto this orange section. And we're flipping onto the green. We're going to sew each one of these seams with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now we're going to start making some progress with this block. So there's our first seam. Our second seam. And our third. And while we're here at the sewing machine, I'm going to go right back up to the top. I'm going to flip open this section right here and finger press that orange section down and bring over the green pinwheel. We're going to check it, make sure it's going the right way. Flip that down, line it up, and sew that seam. We're going to flip open this middle section, that little red block, finger press that down, and bring over this other section. Line up that raw edge and sew that one as well. And now we're down here. We're going to add this last red pinwheel. Just like that. And now we're starting to make some good progress on this block. This block, I wouldn't say it's hard. It's not hard, but it takes a minute, right? Let's cut these connecting threads. I'm going to give each one of these rows a press and then lay it back down. She is going to be a pretty block. She's going to be pretty. I have one more question set up for today. One more question. She is going to be a pretty block. She's a little needy though. This block is a little needy. Last question for the day. What would you do with 15 minutes of fame? What would you do with 15 minutes of fame? That's our last question for the day. Ooh, you can get the all pink packs in almost all the stores. Yay. What would you do with 15 minutes of fame? Yes. Yes, Sally. The worst thing about doing a quilt with pinwheels is making sure they all spin the same way. Oh, my brain, my eyes just don't want to see them. Catechup, I don't know if you're asking me where am I from. I live in Williamsburg, Virginia. Williamsburg. Technically York County, but we have a Williamsburg address. That sounds confusing, right? What would you do with 15 minutes of fame? Guess what? We only have 2 seams to finish up this block, And I want to get this done before you have to go for today because I want to show you the pieces for tomorrow's block. Okay? The pieces for tomorrow's block. We're going to try to match up these two seams. On this middle section, you have two seams. I'm going to try to make sure that they're lined up right in the middle. Just like that. And while we're right here, I'm going to finger press this open, just like that. And we're going to add this other section. Pay attention to which way you're laying out your block. The reds go diagonally across from one another. The greens are diagonally across from one another. Again, we're going to make sure that these middle seams are nesting and matching up. You can throw some pins in there if that's going to help you. And just like that, once you get all of the prep work with the pinwheels done, this block comes together pretty quick in the end. I'm going to go ahead and press this and we're going to reveal this finished Honey's Choice block. I don't know whose honey picked out this block to be their choice block. I don't know whose honey that was. It must be someone who loves pinwheels. All right, for the big reveal. Finished pinwheel block. Yeah, it's a little wonky. It's a little wonky. I'll square it up in the end. There we go, finished pinwheel block. Miss Hazel has a question. Did you say you had no address? No, I do have an address. I'm just not going to pronounce it here on the YouTubes. I have an address. I live in Williamsburg, Virginia. Yes, it is a very, very stunning, pretty block, right? She just takes a lot of work. And I'm not partial on pinwheels. So if you asked me, this would probably not be my favorite block just because of all of the work that it took to make it, right? And the pinwheels. If you love pinwheels, this might be your favorite quilt block. I do think it's going to look stunning in this quilt. I do. I just think she takes a lot of work. She takes a lot of work. She's a high maintenance quilt block. Let's just call it that. She's a high maintenance quilt block. Honey's Choice. Very pretty though. All right, before we go, I want to pull up tomorrow's quilt block because I have some instructions for tomorrow. Tomorrow's quilt block is called Fan Dance. This is going to be a 6-inch quilt block. You're going to need 8 colors of fabric. If you look in the description box of this video, you're going to find a download. There's a Dropbox download, and I figured out what the Google Share Dropbox thing is for Google, and I put it in there too if you have problems with Dropbox. If you're on the Creative Crew group on Facebook, I uploaded this template into the file section this morning, so you can find it there as well. So there's 3 places that you can find it. Now, if you don't have a printer, I'm going to show you what you can do to make the fan dance block. The PDF is a 1-page PDF. This is the little template for the quarter circle in the middle of this block. Print this out. Make sure you choose the actual size in your print settings. And this is what you're going to have for tomorrow. You'll need your favorite fusible for doing applique. We're going to do this the really simple way, y'all. We're not doing a curved seam for this block. We're going to just treat it like applique. Okay? So here's your template for tomorrow. Now, if you don't have a printer and you want to make this block, grab yourself, go through your pantry, or find one of those compass things that you put the pencil on and you can draw a circle. Find a lid. This is not big enough, but it's the closest lid I had to show you as an example. You need a circle that measures 5.5 inches from side to side and top to bottom. Okay, from this side to this side, it measures 5.5 inches. Maybe a coffee can lid, something big to trace a circle. Once you have your circle traced, fold it in half and then fold it in half again. This gives you the perfect template, the same size as the one that you can print out. Okay, so if you don't have a printer, you're still going to be able to play along with the fan dance. The radius 5.5 inches from side to side. Blue Ridge Mountains. I love the Blue Ridge Mountains. I do. We're not doing curves. We're not sewing a curved seam, y'all. We're taking a shortcut tomorrow. We're doing applique. No curved seams. Do not panic. Do not get nervous. We're going to do it. We're going to treat that little part of the circle as applique. Okay? We're going to take a little shortcut. We're going to make it super simple. The half square triangles, there's already enough of those we have to do tomorrow. We're going to make the center of this block super duper simple. Super simple. So the description box has 2 links. One's for Dropbox, one's for Google Share. Same template. And then if you're on the Creative Crew group, it's in the file section and you can grab it there. So you'll need this for tomorrow's block. And then here's all of the rest of the pieces for the fan dance. Oh, see, y'all want to get all confused into center and radius and diameter. I don't know. All I know is from side to side of the circle is 5.5 inches. Is that the diameter? The radius is half of the diameter. See, we're learning something. Is that calculus or algebra? I don't know. Barbara, we're taking the easy route with the fan dance. Nothing complicated. Yes, no curves. No, we're not doing curved seams tomorrow. Nope. I want it to be something that we can all do and we're all going to get pretty results with. I can't tell you the last time I did a curved seam, but I can tell you it didn't turn out that pretty. So we're gonna simplify this. We're gonna simplify it. Ooh, that's calculus. Oh, okay. If you're trying to do it with the Google, evidently I have to go in and this is the first time I've done Google. Try to get it from the Dropbox if you can. Evidently there's some settings I need to change for the Google sharing. Geometry. Geometry. Yeah, this is the first time I've shared. The last time when we did the bunny and I shared that template for everybody, somebody recommended Google Share. And so I thought I'd give it a try, but evidently there's some settings that I need to change. I don't know. But Chantel, you're on the Creative Crew group. It's in the file section there. And I will check out the settings for Google Share. I thought I had it all set up right. Evidently I do not. So it's been so great to see y'all. I want to leave this on the screen for just a minute before we go. For just a second. We need 8 different colors of fabric. 8 different colors of fabric. And you can use Heat and Bond Light, Wonder Under. You could do it with freezer paper if you want to. Freezer paper and a glue stick or Elmer's school glue. Any way that you like to do applique. Gather that stuff for tomorrow. We're going to simplify this so much. I don't want to say we're cheating. We're not really cheating in tomorrow's block. It's just an alternative way to make it more simple to do the fan dance block. It's just an alternative. All right, everybody. If you missed these measurements, make sure to come back on the replay and you can jot them down. I know several of you are keeping a journal of all of these blocks. I want to show you one more time the finished Honey's Choice quilt block. I think she's pretty. She's a high maintenance block. Yes, she is. She is a little needy, but she's beautiful, right? I can't wait to add her up on the wall. Thank you so much for joining me today on your Friday. Thank you to all of my moderators. You guys are awesome. Thank you for taking the pressure off so that I can concentrate on my pinwheels and get those right. And I don't have to worry about my chat. So thank y'all so much. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the fan dance block. I hope you have a great afternoon and evening. Happy Friday, everybody. Yes, fusible interfacing like Heat and Bond Light, Wonder Under, any of those fusibles that you like to use. Fusible interfacing, though, is not like a Pellon, not for like your t-shirt quilts and stuff like that. Oh, Mimsy, you're so right. Let me show the fan dance as a quilt. Oh, I'm so glad I saw that before we went because this is pretty amazing. I have 3 different examples that I worked up. Fan dance on point. Fan dance repeated in the same direction in rows. And then fan dance as like a medallion quilt, like a wall quilt in that arrangement. Isn't that pretty fantastic? Same block, different arrangements. And guess what? Sally did the math for y'all. Yes, she did. I'm not doing the math. Sally did the math and she shared the math. If you wanted to use the fan dance on point and fill in the side triangles and those 4 corner triangles. She did the math. Thank you, Miss Sally. The set-in triangles, and I'll repeat this tomorrow too. The set-in triangles measure 9 3/4, and your 4 corner triangles measure 5 1/8. 5 1/8. Thank you so much, Miss Sally. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Linda, for my new t-shirt. I love it. That was a nice surprise. That was a nice surprise. And again, one more shout out and thanks to my moderators today. Mimsy, I'm glad you said that because I was totally forgetting to show the examples. It had totally slipped my mind. The pinwheels have me all like diameters and liberty gibberties. All right, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic Friday. I look forward to doing the fan dance quilt block with you tomorrow. I'm thinking the fan dance, even though it's a smaller block, it's going to be a little bit easier and take a little less time. That's just what I'm thinking. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.